Hi again. How are you? Thanks for coming back. So far we talked about nine of these SEL and executive functioning goals, and kind of gave provided some illustration on how to integrate those goals into the different contents that we teach. For the purposes of this particular presentation, I won't be able to get into specifics on every single K-12 topic. I'm sorry, content. But if you'd like, you can always email me. Give me a call. I'd love to work with you on it. Completely free, no charge whatsoever. Okay, so the rest of them. Here we go. Being able, number 10, to adapt to varying group dynamics. Well, this is just like when we have to work with people that we necessarily don't want to invite over our house for a Sunday dinner, right? How do we get along at work with those people? These are those SEL and EF goals that you possess because you're able to do it. You realize that there's a common goal, that there's skill sets that are found in just about everybody, even those who really get under your nails. And so this is what we're going to do in our classrooms with our kids. We're going to help them see that there's strengths in each of us. And that if we are able to figure out what they are, interests, strengths, passions, together, our final product will be all the more better. All right? 11, being resourceful. Well, hey, we're going to throw a party and we only have $20. We're going to be inviting 10 people. What do we do? All right? That's a common scenario that happens in households, quite honestly, all throughout the country, right? What about in the classroom? Is there a project idea that you're going to assign potentially? And you know that there's limited resources available at the school and maybe even that the students themselves have access to at home. And you might create a project that says, hey, listen, I'm not going to give you any ideas for materials, but I'm going to tell you that you can't spend a single dollar, not one penny, on any resources and materials. And here's what this project is going to look like. Okay? So that's exciting. It's fun. That's one example that can be done in just about every single classroom at any grade level across the entire country. Being curious, number 12, the idea of being a problem solver, right? The strongest, most effective adults, they're able to not only solve problems, but do so in a way that poses questions, that potentially will answer or provide solutions to future problems that don't even exist yet. The ability to have foresight into the future, being a problem solver about something that's happening today, but also thinking, what about the future? I think about pollution. I think about recycling. I think about energy conservation, the future of vehicles. There's so many topics that we can be curious about. Okay, 13, having zeal or enthusiasm, bringing forth a constant stream of energy toward a goal. We've all had the student who walks in and they're so tired. Oh, Mr. Blankety Blank or Miss Blankety Blank, I'm so exhausted today. I just need to lay down. Well, laying down is not okay because this is an active learning classroom. And what we do is we solve problems every single day. And if we spend time complaining and whining and, putting our head down on the desk, we're never going to be able to be part of the solution for these problems. And we encourage that kind of attitude. And again, we use our rubric to actually provide some accountability and feedback to the child on how they're doing in these areas. Okay? 14, taking individual responsibility even in the midst of competing circumstances. So you've got a group scenario going on. 3 of the 5 students, well, they're slacking off. They're giggling. They're acting silly. They're talking out loud. 2 of the 5 are really focused and they're working hard. Does that sound familiar? So what happens? The 2 that are working super hard have to be recognized for that. They have to be publicly recognized. They have to be individually recognized. And the others, in that group also have to be aware that there's levels of recognition that are available to them. There's maybe possibly some type of accomplishment, reward, or incentive that you might have installed. And we're going to talk all about incentives down the road. Okay, where are we? 15, being organized. The ability to say, all right, today I know the objective is this. These are the things that the teacher is asking me to do or to read or to participate in. And then I have to do this by myself, and that is going to be due when? Tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Okay, he also or she also said that I have to post to the message board at the end of the week, that I have to bring the assignment back and review it in a month, that I have to think about how this particular goal will tie into my year-end presentation that I might have to give. How does it tie into a future goal even beyond this year for myself? Maybe I'm moving towards 8th grade. I'm in 7th grade. How does that tie to my preparation for that, etc. So number 16, staying focused, leveraging our own time for future orientation and staying on task even when others aren't. Having to basically monitor time on task could be a bit of a tedious task for a teacher to do. But if you use a rubric and you say, all right, this independent practice piece of our lesson today is going to take 7 minutes. And I need everybody to be able to be fully involved in participating for that full 7 minutes. And if you do, you're going to get a 5, basically out of 5 on our rubric. Let's go for it. If you talk about that and you set it up that way, you have a better chance at moving towards that goal of staying focused. Participating, 17. What does it mean to participate? Am I actively listening? Or am I waiting my turn to talk? Making supportive comments to peers, backing up statements and comments made by others, asking great questions such as how, what if, and why, and positively praising others. We could talk more about it. If we're using a Google Classroom scenario, a Blackboard scenario, or a similar type of classroom program, electronic classroom program where you can use a message board, what a wonderful way to ensure participation. Number 18, accepting criticism from others, including peers, and applying it. So maybe there's going to be a section of the rubric for this, and maybe at the end of a particularly involved activity that was a group activity, there's going to be a component for feedback from the others in the group. Maybe it's anonymous. Of course, you're going to want to read through it first and set up criteria for what can be said and what can't be said. But that idea of feedback from others is a skill that as adults we have to harness as well if we're going to be as successful as if others are going to be as successful as you are. All right, so those are the 18. We're going to talk a little bit more down the road about establishing success routines, and I look forward to continuing our talk. Thanks.